At this point right here in 2025, teams were 2-293 when trailing by 8 or more points in the final 3 minutes. A play like this that we're seeing here in the play before, it helped Alabama change that stat to 3-293 by the time Saturday's game against South Carolina was over. And you got to give credit a lot to one dude. Ty, what's colder than being cold, Simpson? Because I've yet to find out what his middle name is on the internet, so we're going with that for the time being. Because Ty Simpson, this dude's got ice in his veins. Ty Simpson generates 1.27 expected points added per play in final 2-minute situations and when trailing by 1 to 7 points. A lot going on this chart, but the color coordination helps. All right. This is how good Ty Simpson is based on the situation that his team is in. So far this season, that top bar, he's been in 3 games where he's been losing by 1 to 7 points. He's best when he's losing and down compared to when his team is up and in control. In those scenarios where he's losing by 1 to 7 points, passer rating over 200 points. That's his highest efficiency. That's getting it done. And then as you can see, when he's tied with the opposing team, it's happened 7 times this year. Passing rating, still good, 182. That's above average on a relative basis for Power 4 quarterbacks. When he's winning by 8 to 14 points, you guys get the deal. It's average. Winning by 1 to 7 points, below average. In a weird way, Ty Simpson is best when he's down, which speaks to why the dude's got ice in his veins. Let's go back to that fourth quarter, though, at Williams-Brice Stadium. I showed you this the first time. This is the touchdown to get him within 2 points, and then they had to get the 2-point conversion right. Ryan Grubb was in his bag this game because he had some very timely play calls that then when you have a quarterback like Ty Simpson who you trust, it's the perfect package for an offensive coordinator. Reason I say that, Alabama on this play, they're going to line up their running back to the left and then motion him over to the right. Sometimes at home on your couch, you might be being like, yo, why are they doing that offensively? What does that actually do? Well, sometimes defensively, from a defensive front perspective, where the back is sets your front and how you're sliding your defensive lineman. Little thing that ends up being a big thing. The reason that matters here is because they're going to have this running back leak into the flat for a touchdown. That's ultimately where the ball goes. And the reason it works is because this defensive end who has his hand in the dirt, he's going to drop out. I don't know this to be factual, but I wouldn't be surprised if the fact that the running back being on the right-hand side triggered this defensive end to drop out, and he drops back, I should say, not out, because by going back and not to the flat, it allows this running back to beat him to the flat and ultimately get the touchdown. The concept behind it, you got a little drag by the tight end, over route by Ryan Williams, I believe that is, and then you got a little over route working right to left as well, and then a circus route. Sorry, there's a lot going on. Circus route by this receiver on the bottom of the screen. This running back working here ultimately gets this touchdown. Excellent design by Ryan Grubb, taking advantage leverage-wise of this defensive end not being a coverage guy. This is what I want you to watch. Watch this defensive end and how he does not get out to the flat. You're going to hop the running back over, defensive end, boom. You know, as I say that again, I don't think on that one the running back's movement dictated the front, but the point still holds true. That is very much a football thing when you see that on your couch of like, yo, why are they just moving them over? Just line them up there. What does that actually do? That's oftentimes why offensive coordinators do it. This is the 2-point conversion. Right here, it's what? 26-28, I believe it was. 24-26? 26-28. This is something they don't show you on the TV copy. Look at this receiver spacing here. He's so far out that allows the timing to work out. But they're going to motion the running back and quarterback in the backfield or shift him over, and they're going to hand this ball to Ty Simpson. When you hand the ball, he still is a legal passer, or an eligible passer, I should say. They're going to fake the reverse working behind him, and then tight end leaks into the flat for ultimately a touchdown. You got a receiver on the top of the screen working in, then he'll work back out, and then you got an over route. Alabama fans watching this, my Pac-12 fans, any Washington Husky, Kalen DeBoer loyalists, they'll remember this. But this is a great, in terms of Ryan Grubb being in his bag, Kalen DeBoer's favorite trick play in a must-have-it situation. They ran it at home versus Oregon and versus Bo Nix in Oregon 2 years ago. They ran it in the national championship game, I believe. This receiver right here was Rome Odunze, where you fake the handoff and then you pitch it to Rome Odunze coming back. That was Kalen DeBoer's favorite gotta-have-it trick play. So if South Carolina is going deep into their bag, and on Tuesday after practice showing the team, hey, what trick plays does Ryan Grubb like to run? They like the reverse. So this is an excellent counter off of it. I don't know if they're going 2 years deep into the footage, but as someone who covered the Pac-12, I remember Grubb and DeBoer calling that. So this is ultimately a great counter off of that, and Ty Simpson is going to hit the tight end into the flat to get the 2-point conversion, tie this ball game, and give themselves a shot later on in the game to ultimately win this game. Because it's not just the fourth quarter or the game winners where Ty Simpson's great. It's late down situations as well where Ty Simpson is dialed. A lot going on these spider charts. Those of you guys that have watched my breakdowns every week, you know I love these spider charts because you can see some more nuanced stats here. You know, working left to right, you got late down EPA, explosive rate, success rate, turnover, sack rate, pass EPA. But then that black arrow is what I'm pointing at right here. Week 5 on the left, not good late down EPA per play. Not good. Look at the jump in week 9. So that's getting it done on both third and fourth down. That's where Ty Simpson is very good. Simpson is now 7 for 10 on fourth down passes and 32 of 53 on third down passes. That is getting it done on money downs. There's the stats. Sometimes stats lie, so let me show you the footage to back it up. Ultimately, Ty Simpson's going to hit an out route to the top of the screen. Told you Ryan Grubb's in his bag. Look at how they get to this out route. These shifts and these motions that they're doing ensure that they're going to get man coverage because they're starting in this like more wing formation and they're going to motion or shift both receivers to the right-hand side. What that does is that then puts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me see here. That then puts them in a quads formation. Quads formation, we said the same thing about Trinidad and Ole Miss. That forces the defense's hands a little bit. And I would almost guarantee that Ryan Grubb knew that, hey, when we go quads, South Carolina is going to go man coverage. And versus man coverage, we love some deep outs. I don't know if Ryan Williams caught this one, but we love deep outs with Ryan Williams in the slot. They got yeah, it's a bad color. Sorry. We got a go ball, top of the screen. We got a deep out who they're ultimately going to hit on this play. You got an over route working right to left. And you got this running back into the flat. That's tough for a defense. 4 receivers out to one side. This is a third down. Third down, ensuring you're getting man coverage. Look at Ty Simpson. He double clutches on this play because it takes this receiver some time to get out of his break. But even with the double clutch, gets the ball out of his hands. Again, this is in the fourth quarter, third down. Got to have it. Makes it look easy. It's not easy. Excellent throw, picking up the first down. And then this last one, showing you just for good measure and how aggressive this Alabama offense is. This is earlier on in this game. This is a fourth down and short. It's 14-6 Bama, 11-16 left in the third quarter. It's 4th and 1, and Bama's going for the jugular. 4th and 1, a lot of teams going, hey, dive right behind the tackles. Bama says, nah, we got arguably the best quarterback in college football, and we got probably the second best receiver in college football. So let's take some deep shots down here. They're going to dial up Ryan Williams, working left to right on an over route. You got tight end working into the flat. You got a corner route by the outside receiver on the bottom of the screen, and then an over route by the slot receiver on the bottom of the screen. But they're dialing up Ryan Williams, working across into this vacated zone here, and he's open. He's open. He drops this one to whoever mentioned that in the chat. Alabama missing opportunities, but this could have been big time. Ty Simpson putting it right there. He almost like stumbles. But at that point, you pick up that first down, the whole complexion of the game could have been a lot different if you ultimately get points there. At that point, you're up 14-6. You get a touchdown. See if I can do you're up 23-6. A lot harder to do math on the fly when you're live than sitting at home on your couch. Paid the price for that in my whatever game I was calling last week. What was that? Syracuse Pitt. Anyways, Bama offense loaded. Ty Simpson loaded. Like I said, I think it's a two-headed monster. Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza to win the Heisman Trophy. South Carolina was the first time Alabama overcame an 8-point deficit in the final 3 minutes to win over the last 20 seasons. They now have an 84% chance to make the playoff, according to The Athletic. And if they get to that point where it's all about which quarterback can be more chill in the biggest moments, I got this guy, Ty, what's colder than being cold, Simpson.